right? If you was a DA and you went to the precinct, you could pull the records of that she called every tour. She would always call them and give them the same scenario or something like, I'm afraid of him and all this other craziness. While they talking to her, they still running numbers on me. Because they still want to make an arrest now. Just because you innocent don't mean that they don't still want to. You call them, they need to make an arrest. Anyway, long story short, that's what went down. So every tour, okay, you think about it. If your spouse calls the C-Cypher Punks every tour to say the same thing, that sounds like she's trying to get them to do something. Arrest you, shoot you, do something. They only do two things, arrest or shoot or both. What the fuck? What else do they do? They don't counsel. So you can understand the dynamics of, especially now since media is so good. But women been up on it that if you call the police at the right time, you can get them to shoot your man. They been on that, son. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? I got it from reputable sources that chicks be knowing about shit pretty much 5 years before we catch on. They're 5 years ahead of us. Up until you catch up. Like maybe you catch up around 30. Because they're more emotional. And they dealing with the two equalities. Wisdom equality. You should be dealing with logic. But I meet a whole lot of bitch ass niggas. They don't be dealing with no logic. All they should be emotional. Because you know, bitch ass nigga will do this. You be talking to a chick, you ain't told all the good stories and all the real shit. Because it's opening night. We're not gonna divulge all our good shit on opening night. But this nigga ain't got no opening nights. Those opening nights is closed nights. So, when they got closed nights and you got opening night, then the feelings kick in. They get up in their feelings. So once they get up in their feelings, then they make a move based on who they are and what's really in their heart. And so, bitch ass niggas try to blow you up. What they call dry snitching. Like that. They'll try to do that. No matter what it is, if it's your boss, if it's chicks, if it's any little secret that they jealous about, they try to blow you up. But what happens is, when real brothers step up to the plate, most of the people who don't know and understand, most of them won't say yay or nay. But the ones that's 85 and they're right next to you, because they're still leaching like a battery gets leached from the cement. Takes the power from it. Draws the energy. So since you're like a powerhouse, they could draw off you and you don't even know it. You don't feel it. It's like a little tick biting you. So what I'm saying is, that's why you gotta kind of don't allow certain information to manifest itself prior to finding out who are the dry snitchers and whatever, those kind of people. So you have to take everybody and make everybody not accessible to your information of who you are as far as your identity. Because they want to destroy what you're doing based on one factor. It's not like they're looking at the other person and saying, well, they're going to probably do harm to them or something. They're trying to prevent that. That's not what it is. They know that you right and exact and the person you're going after is right and exact and that it's going to work and it's going to be good. But they want to throw The old cliche is a monkey wrench, but that's really racist to say that, so I don't say that. But you know what happens if they can do anything to put a cog in the wheel. That's real talk. Wow, that's deep. Anyway, enough with those. I just wanted y'all to know that you have to see it as a circle of, think of it as identity theft and all that goes with that. That's just a part of you as far as dry snitching or anything. It's probably some information you gave them. But remember now, from the start, they snitching, they trying to get information from the gate. You thinking they're your friend, but they not really your friend. They don't like you. They're envious of you. And so, from the gate, they're always asking you a bunch of bitch-ass questions or foolish-ass questions or questions that you be saying to yourself, damn, nigga, you writing a book? What the fuck is wrong with you? And they want to ask you not these type of questions they asking while y'all in private and it's just y'all building. No. That's why it's a whole dry snitch thing. You just came back from lunch. You was going more time than you have. And they'll say some shit like, damn, where you been, man? All loud and shit. I ain't seen you since. Or they'll say some shit, we going to a board meeting. And they'll fucking blow it up. Blow up the board meeting. Doing dumb shit. Thinking that shit is nice. And it's a ride. And they can all make their little... Because they be cooning too. You gotta remember, when they dry stitch, they also might coon. So... they'll be around the slave masters who still on the plantation. Still, everything is the same right now. You just got it softer now. We still on the plantation in the thing. They going crazy on our ass. You starting to see it now. That's why a lot of people going to Africa. African countries are saying, come on home. Nigga shit, and you know where your tribes are, and you go right on with them. Now, if you don't think it's real, try it and go see if they kind of look like you. And if the tribe have that look, because every tribe got a look. You feel me? We amalgamated, miscegenated with more than one tribe. We probably like 3 or 4 tribes. I know I seen about 4 tribes in my DNA. I was like, damn. At least we stayed together. You know, I ain't saying there wasn't no Euro in there, but if you look at the Euros, you could tell what those Euros are. A lot of time, those Euros was people be saying the slave master, but that's not who they were. Most of the time, they were that overseer. That's who the fuck they was. The slave master did his shit too now, don't get it twisted. But there was more those, that's why Django killed them overseers. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you following me on this, right? And as time goes on, if you start early, see, I'm really trying to put the young people on. Us old people, we already know the game, and we can make moves. They can't get us no more. If you already a game changer, they can't get you. You might have some old school shit that get you, because they come from the old school with you, and they know. Because we all know each other. We old school. And there's some haters in there too. Well, in your crew, every crew ain't perfect now. Some crews are perfect. There's nobody in there snaking or nothing. Y'all are good. This ain't for you. I'm talking about y'all that don't know. See, the crew start getting bigger and bigger. That's when the problem comes. The bigger it gets, the more you have to scrutinize. Think, if the nation didn't have 120, being this big, who would scrutinize? You couldn't. There's no way of doing it. But because you have to know and understand, if they don't pass the I know and understand test, unless you do it, you let the 85s in. You might let them in by accidentally thinking you could teach them, and they might be playing with it. They're just trying to, do whatever it is they do because that's who they are. And that's where you can make a error. So don't think you not even knowing this information, you still could get caught because you're going to still want to teach and you're going to have to do it. I mean, sometimes you got to do it. But while you doing it, You could expose them to the lesson without exposing them to you. That's what I'm saying. Don't be exposing you to them, because you don't know yet until they fully in and they traveling and you seen time and grade. And even that don't mean nothing. Because I seen people did time and grade and they did something so heinous that the nation threw you out. And these guards throw you out of something that's going on with us. I don't care if you have the most disagreeable attitude with the lessons. They not going to throw you out for that. But if you do some shit like... I mean, I seen people eat shrimps, crabs, and they ain't throw you out for that neither. You could be not doing all of that crazy shit you could do. You could get right. You could do whatever. They not going to bother you. What is this? Always 3. Oh, robbery. You stealing and shit. Who, what, when, and how you do that. Oh, have you a problem. You could have a problem. So other than that, I mean, you can have a fight, and so we fight. That's what we do. That's why everybody can fight, because we fight. I don't know if we just practicing. We don't really try to hurt our brothers. But sometimes heated discussions get heated and motherfuckers fight. Gee, it is what it is. I'm not fronting on you. I'm going to keep it real all the way. It's a fact. We fight. But that don't mean we ain't got love. And we don't fight a lot. It's not like it was in the 80s. We fought a lot more than they did in the 90s. And definitely 70s fought way more than they did in the 80s. See, we started calming down. So now we done calmed down, and most of the youth, they mostly going to college and universities, getting trades, getting a profession, all understand 120 and all that. They doing that now. They not doing the other stuff. So by doing that, you going this way. It changes the whole dynamics. You know, that's why you see a lot of diversity. I mean, people I guess the group that's trying to keep it as not diverse as it can, to keep that purity of whatever they're manifesting within that cipher, that purity that they want to keep. I understand that. That's why I try to go with, I don't think his will was to make us all exactly the same. I didn't come up with that in my own just thinking. I never really thought about it before until the 90s, when the late 90s, beginning 2000s, around 1999. Not even then. It wasn't even 99. 98, 99, I didn't see that either. And then when I saw that, not to say that it wasn't always there, it just wasn't like a campaign. Like, what the fuck? Is that a campaign? Like, wow. I don't think you got a campaign. You already know. It's already known that certain Medina mathematics is going to be Medina. And it's got its own attraction. You don't have to do anything to it. Just the way you wisdom, I could tell you're from Medina. I don't care. Everybody in Medina, believe this, everybody in Medina's lessons are not exactly the same, even though Medina tries to keep it closer like Medina did in the old days, Yathrib. Oh, y'all know that story. They did similar things as going on now. All the way back with the 4 caliphs, the imams, the compiling of the information, all of that is like it's rebirthing itself, because that's a kind of thing that goes on. If you go back to the old Pantheon, the Zohar and all that, you can see they was trying to do that then. And if you go where they got that from, it's just part of the manifestation. You have to understand and look at it from the in and out and see. The will of the Father, I don't think he won, and I don't know for sure because I wasn't there. That's not really a theory for me, though. It's like knowledge is like being born right there, because that's what I know for a fact. At the same time, in 1983, in March, when I was getting mathematics, somebody else was getting it too. And they weren't getting it in the same manner. And then we know exactly what our lessons say based on when we show each other the actual degrees that we received in the beginning. And anybody that knows the game and how this is really played, it's like a chess game, not checkers. And so when you understand that, you know that we don't be showing each other our lessons like that. It's not the way it works. We show each other our lessons by quoting them and manifesting it out of our mouth. We don't really... I really gotta be your people if y'all doing that, looking at each other's degrees and exchanging and this, that, and the third. Like you do that mostly with your enlighteners or enlightener or educator or, you know, whatever the manifestation is that's being born. Because each time you have a different manifestation coming at you, whether it's equal or God or power or it's the culture, however it's being born. Remember I told y'all before, I said the reason why we didn't see the difference is because depending on the situation is how we used it. Definitely when we was talking to each other, we did not go through this strenuous saying power or refinement. It's just not that kind of world. We moving, yo, you got that power? See, that's how we was doing. I told y'all that before. I said we cut everything short. And so that's why it probably wasn't a problem, because we was bouncing back and forth with it depending on what you were doing. It's just the way it went down. I'm keeping it real. I don't remember caring or knowing or wondering, because it is what it is, and it was still the basis of the saying, who is that mystery God? There is no mystery God. That was the key to the whole shit. So who is God? I yourself, self is the true reality, Son of Man, God. That's where we was going. We wasn't worried about all of that other. Because we already knew they were supposed to be diverse, because we all had that plus degree that said, if I wanted y'all all to sound exactly the same, or if I wanted y'all to quote the same, I don't quote it, but in something similar to either, I wanted y'all to quote the same or sound the same, I'd have let you go and be a Muslim, like, you could bet that Elijah Muhammad's Muslims and Farrakhan's Muslims and Salman, when they all quote their thing exactly the same. They do everything exactly the same because they are soldiers in a soldier type environment. You seen it say Captain and Lieutenant. They wasn't running their Captain and Lieutenant. We got God and Earth. They got Captain and Lieutenant. They got Muslim. We got God. Right? But the ones who don't have it and they got it like they enlightened gave, like there's more than just 1-9 born. There's 9-9 born. And there's 14 firstborn in Medina. So the other 14 who didn't agree, or the other whoever numbers didn't agree and said they going to teach it the way they got it, they not writing exact. Those are questions, not rhetorical neither. I'm just saying, those enlighteners aren't right. All those people that went all over this place, are we really trying to be like, go read, if you get, I'm going to tell you the best one to get to. If you get Maulana Muhammad Ali's Quran, right? Because that's where I first noticed it at. When I got that one, I started reading not the Quran itself, but I was reading the preface, right? Read the preface, and then you're gonna see the preface is pretty long. Then you go into the introduction, read that, because that's gonna give you all that good history, right? And then you're gonna go into the world's greatest spiritual force and all that. They're gonna go into that, but when you're reading this part. That's the part you want to see, because then you're going to see the relations to the early scriptures. You're going to go through those, right? You're going to keep following through. Then when you're going to see the life after death, they're going to keep going in. Read all that part. Because in that part, they're going to go into the caliphs and how they put it together. And how when Muhammad was around, it was not a book. You feel me? They're going to know that it wasn't a book. It was in leaf. And all of them wasn't saying it the same way. Some of them had said it a different way, but Babu Bakr made them all do it the same way as much as he could. That's what happened. But that's not what it was in the beginning. It was not that. They even went around saying, well, some of these guys quoted different. Because they got it that way from the prophet. Remember, he would be quoting it to them, and then they would learn how to quote it. He was making them quote it, and he would quote it. Other motherfuckers would be writing it down as he quoted it. So, when it went from his mouth to theirs mouth, you don't think it lost something? It always loses something. We did that test before, right? We spoke to each other. I said something to you in your ear. I only get to say it one time. You have to listen. That was just a test. And then you do it and you keep passing it on. And at the end of the room, it's usually not the same thing. The only difference between us and them is, the reason why we can have the same thing at the end of the room. And even that didn't totally come out as the same thing at the end of the room, but it came pretty close. Because we're quoting a degree. And it still didn't come out that way. So it's Allah's will based on that. So, in that degree, that's more of a unifying us, saying we all not going to be exactly. Our quotation is all not going to be exactly the same. It's not going to be. Not that it is going to be or that it should be, but that it's not going to be. And that other one, I don't agree with English C Lesson 1, which I would be basing it on. The pattern doesn't look right. Like, my lesson has a comma after each word. It doesn't make culture and refinement one word or one thought. It has a comma after each word. Like, that's how I would think that you would write English anyway. Because each one of those words is a complete thought. There's no way that's not a complete thought. Each word is not a complete thought. But anyway, if your lessons don't have the comma in it, and mine does, there's the difference. That's what's supposed to be there. The Father wants us not to be like Muslims, all exactly the same, and making Abu Bakr put all of our lessons in that book and make it exactly the same. That's not how it was manifested, because on that makes me say that. Muhammad heard it from the angel Gabriel. That's how I see the science. The angel Gabriel told Muhammad what to say and where to put the order. How he had it ordered, because they had an order. It was in an order, but it wasn't in a book. It was only a certain way you could quote it long, and you could only quote a certain amount per so many hours. So, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is it was not exactly the same. That we shouldn't be trying to do that to each other. Like, make us all exactly quote it the same way, have the exact same. No, if your shit is different, just keep passing it down. Don't change anything. The way your enlightened gave it, you could probably trade. If you keep it the way your enlightened gave him, and the line is going to go back to whoever one of those 9 born or one of those 14 born in Medina had it. Someone had it like that. How did we get it? We're way too young when we got it, and we didn't know enough. And how would we know? You got it. Who gave it to you? Where'd you get that one from? That's what you do. Now, of course, if your line ain't right and exact, I say jump ship, but pretty much, I think the 9 born and the 14 born, I think they kept the line pretty tight, considering where it's been all over. I'm sure there's a couple of flaws here and there, but flaws are good. The earth rotates around the sun, but everybody's fingerprint is not the same. Not even on your own hand. Your fingerprint to the next fingerprint is not the same. Who would want to be like that? The twins aren't the same. So now we gonna all be the same. We gonna be some all same quote now, bro. He said, "Here's go one coach will refine me without a comma, so it should be the same." And okay, I hear all the different. All right, well, the father didn't say this and that, and then he's on Otisville. He's not just talking directly to us. He's in the damn penal institution. They holding him as a hostage. They're all listening to what he say too, and everything. You don't know how he talk when he's talking to Messiah by himself, and it's just him and Messiah. You don't know. He knew how the devil was. He said, "I just want them to ask me one question. If they gave me something to eat, I didn't eat it." You see, listen to those kind of words and hear the diversity in how he was moving. He talked to Mayor Lindsay He talking to Mayor Lindsay because he's a law. He's talking to him how he talks to him. But when he talking to his 5%, he talk to them how he talk to his 5%. Wait, that's what the Muslims be doing right now, the Orthodox Muslims. That's how they do it. They all do it a little different. They're all supposed to be closer to the tree. I'm with Ali. They Shiites. Because remember that last born, they took off and went with Shiite, and he was Ali. You see the pattern, right? You telling me Shiite don't look something like that's us from Medina? It doesn't? Yes, it does. It looks like that's us. And then we saying Mecca is the Sunni. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? We turned into the thing we hated the most. That's the one thing we didn't want to be was Muslims. And now y'all gonna make us Muslims. Because we all gotta have everything exactly the same. And what, you gonna turn into a book too and we only can get that book? We should be trying to make sure that don't happen. Helping that come up. Now I ain't saying beat people up and make them stop doing what the fuck they doing. But I'm saying we need to put curves on a lot of shit. Y'all want to curve everything. That ain't to talk about Otisville tape. Well, this is what I think about Otisville tape. I think Otisville tape, the second part, that everybody kept a secret and only gave everybody the first part. I think the second part is more important. It tells you how to eat to live. A lot of us ain't doing that. We ain't doing exactly what he said do and what not to eat. Nah. I heard the guard say at the Universal rally that he was talking to somebody and it was a brother, and the brother was eating collard greens, and he said something about it, and they didn't even know that you wasn't supposed to eat collard greens. So, I'm just saying. That's all. I'm just saying. These are things and thoughts that's on my mind when I'm thinking about shit. Shit be getting at me. I don't like that. That we all going at each other over that. Even the guard said, damn, every month is this. And it's almost like, what is that? Who's orchestrating that? Saying, let's do that. Whenever you see them doing that, you say that. What the fuck? What, you trying to start fights and shit? That's not cool. Not at all. Not feeling you young people wanting to fight each other over that. Because us older guards, we not going to fight each other over that, even if we disagree with it. We know who's true and living, who ain't. Y'all motherfuckers are the ones who going to go crazy on each other because you're in that age group, and that shit can get out of hand. I see those arguments on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Come on, man. Next thing you know, people, I'm going to come see you. I'll see you when I see you. And I'll pull your zip code and your IP address. And then motherfuckers is getting VPNs. Come on, man. That's why the old guys talking about they don't like the internet. Because of that kind of shit. Then you texting don't come out the same way as a verbal voice because you texting, but it's flat. And when you talking, people hear inferences in your voice, and they can tell if you're trying to come for them or you're not, based on your voice. Because that's where black people, that's how we talk to each other. We use our voice. Not just the words. I can use one word that we use a lot, like the way we use nigger, right? Depending on how we using it, to each other, I could tell if we coming for each other or we just, in our conversation, it's more like a curse word, and it's more like a curse word for men and a curse word for women. All right, we started that. Our pants was down. It ain't as down as far as it is now, but we started that shit. I just keep looking back saying it was us. We did it. So if we did it, own up to it. So no, then we must have also made sure some of us had power refinement, some of us didn't. Some of us had power refinement justice. Then that lesson came out saying, why do you think that lesson came out saying that, what it said? Because that means people had that. And I said that, but I don't see that other part where they just say way longer, because it also had to depend on how old you was and how long you was in the nation. It wasn't so much you was 40. You might have been 40 and only been in the nation 10 years if you got it late. It was like you was 40. You been in this for 40 years. Yeah, now you was 40. See, we had them kind of dates back then. How long you been in this? Was your date of birth 1983? That's why I know it. 1983, March 14th, 1983. January, by June, I'm quoting. From March to June, I wasn't quoting, I was reading all of that information I had. I was absorbing those mathematics and all the lessons. Not just my 120, I was reading the whole thing. The 600-year process, General Monk, all of that. I was absorbing all that in my brain, reading it. That's how we got it. We was reading big, giant packs of lessons. You had to read all that. It took like 90 days to read everything. Then you start quoting. Okay, now put all of that up. We put it all up, and we start off with knowledge. First of that next month, we won. Now we doing knowledge. And then we just keep going right on through. Sometimes you got to something like a Build or Destroy, and it took longer to quote, so you might have skipped over a day, and now you quoting that and trying to quote the Born because you want to try to get those in 9 days. And you want to do the cipher on the 10th day. You're going for that. So we would do that. Like maybe that day we had a good one. It was a small degree, and we quoted that one, and we got to another one. Okay, yes, we... Oh, man. I'm going to give you the short version. GMO, genetically modified food. All grain, except for the exceptions of the rule. The rices, they not too bad. Black rice. I don't recommend the brown rice anymore because it's becoming so popular, it's getting commercialized. So I would go with the black rice and the wild rice, which they're inherently gluten-free. But until you heal, so it takes about anywhere from 6 months to a year to heal properly, depending on how much damage you already did to your physical composition, how old you are. If you're young and you starting this, you ain't even damaged yourself really yet. You're going to go right off to the next level, no problem. You'll be good. When I see these young people talking about their libido don't work, like wheat is poisoning you. See, that's why if you went according to 120, if you just followed 120's dietary law, it'll change your brain pan. Because definitely, people be missing that. I always say the second degree to 1 to 10. Why? Because that's what they be missing. They don't be knowing that. That's any live grafted germ from original is devil. Now, they might not know that part by any live grafted. That you have to get in the meat, as they would call it, the 1 to 40. But you will know that when you look at something, you can see if that is that the second degree. Is that coming from the second degree in the 1 to 10, or it's not? And if it is coming from the second, if it is coming from the second degree in the 1 to 10, can I use it to my benefit, or is it detrimental to me? And that's what you got to look at. You have to make that judgment call. Now, of course, if you making that judgment call and you choose wrong, you know what he said? He didn't choose so well. He said he chose poorly. That's what he said. He chose poorly. Indiana Jones, the chalice. That was the one where they had the chalice, supposed to be Jesus' cup. Jesus was a carpenter. He wanted the wood cup. They always going after the golden and all the shit that was fly and looking the best. Ain't that like a sign? Yeah, because they didn't know that 120 was this powerful. Till they started seeing those people like Khaled and Malcolm and the Father and all them pop out. Elijah killed them from the 30s all the way to 75. Then by Who could touch? Nobody could prove nothing he said was wrong. Not one person. Now they coming out of the woodwork, talking about what he said wasn't right and exact. Put some of their stuff up on the wall just so people can see the controversy. They need to know that diversity is. That's how the universe works. Doesn't work the other way. It works better with diversity. It wants everything to be different. It doesn't want anything to be the same. It doesn't. Yeah, they're all suns, but they're not the same. They're not. These are planets. They are planets. Planet is something that is grown or made from the beginning. Well, I don't think they're the same. Even if you holy, all babies when they're born, they're holy. Right when they come, they're holy. That when the air particles in the cloud of blood attach itself to the uterus wall, from that point on, they holy. They don't get corrupt till we corrupt them. You make them unholy, so they're a planet too. See, they made it grow from the beginning. Their physical composition is anyway. Right? The physical composition is real. You can't operate on this plane of existence without a physical composition. Not like you want to. That's why you made this universe, so you could get on this physical plane for some reason. You really wanted to be on the physical plane. You create a whole atmosphere and everything so the physical body could handle it. Because the physical composition can't handle space like they be trying to say it can. That part they be telling the truth that they lying about. But just because they lying about that part don't mean they lying about every part. You got to remember they're the truth and falsehood strangely mixed up. But if you have your lessons, you really see it. Now, if you choose to do it, that's different. But when you take the choice away from us by not letting us get part 2 of Otisville tape, yeah, I'm saying it. It's the truth. Y'all held that back. I don't know who was the holder backer, and I just made that word up. But somebody put the word out that we're going to hold that back. We're not going to give out that part. And they didn't, and we didn't have it for years. Somebody had it. People had it, but we didn't have it. I remember I've been in this nation forever, and it was a long time before I even knew that shit existed. So they kept that under wraps. So was that 10% or was we protecting it? I'm not making the call. I'm just making the question. But y'all who were there know if you had to do that or you didn't have to do it. You know why you did it and what went down and why you set that rule up. So when they wrote that other degree that says the Father didn't want us to all sound exactly the same, did they do that because they knew that this was going to happen now and that somebody was going to need to say that part? Like somebody was going to have to say, well, what about this degree? How come everybody's silent on that degree? You don't think that's going to throw me off? Yes, it is. I'm thinking, my name is Divine Understanding Born Law, not W.F. Muhammad. That's what he said in the degree. That's what his name was. That ain't my name. That's his name. So I know what my name is. That's why they say my name. See? Didn't you learn it? My name? Because that's my name. But if your 11 isn't the first degree in the 1 in 36, then your 11 is the first degree in the 1 in 14. Why isn't the devil settled on the best part of the planet Earth? You know, I mean, that's maybe why the original said by the time you hit the 8th degree, you'll all be the same again. Saying the foundation, when God was telling me, he said that the first degree is the 1 in the 1 is the 1 to 10. The first degree in the 1 to 10. Who's the original man? That's the foundation. So if that's the foundation and we going up, I don't see how when we get into the 1 to 36, right? I just don't see how if we in the 1 to 36 that we go back to the foundation and get into the 1 to 10, because that's not going up. If it said go to the foundation, I would say, okay, we got to go back down to the foundation, because the foundation would be the 1 to 10 student enrollment. That's the foundation. And the foundation to the student enrollment is who is the original man. That would be at the bottom of your building. You building up, not unless you're building a building and you going in the ground. I mean, you could do that too. You could have your whole building could be underground like shielded. So maybe you building that way. Okay, I can see it that way too. And then I guess, but still, even if you was going down, the above question, okay, it could be above because if you was going down, then 10 would be above you because you're going down. But if you're going up and you're at the 1 to 36 and it says the above question, well, above ain't going back to the foundation because that wouldn't be above you. That would be below you. So you would be going up. That's you, but I'm just saying from a perspective of how I see it from what we was doing and when I was learning it. We going up, so 120 is way up at the top, and 1 is at the foundation, right? So when I got to that degree and it says, does that have anything to do with the above question number 10? Well, does what have anything to do with the above question 10? Because he said because the devil told him to eat the wrong food. So now we're talking about the wrong food. So the guards is talking about food mentally and physically. He taught him how to eat both wrong foods. So by him teaching him to eat the wrong food, right, doesn't that still got somehow that him not eating the right food puts him into a mystery god worshiping? Because he kind of like an 85, poison the animal, eater, slave of mental death and power. See, mental death and power, so he got both wrong foods. All right. So that's why I said that didn't correlate. That it didn't correlate to go into the 1 to 14 to me. I didn't see it that way. I didn't want to go, and I didn't want to go back down because that was the foundation. It said above. It didn't say below, so I didn't want to go below. That's why I didn't go to the 1 to 10 and go into the 10th degree, even though the 10th degree in 120, which is also the 10th degree in the 1 to 10, right? But in doing that, when I look at that, in my mind's eye, I see in the 10th degree, that's the answer. 35, and then you got 5 and 51. I see that, Mike. That would correlate with it. If you went there, and you went to the 10th, and you said, I'm going to jump right into that mystery God, because that's who, those English from Protestant movement and Catholic and all of them, pretty much is, but for us, 551 wouldn't be Catholic. That would be Protestant under England, when King James and all that, the Lawler and what's his name, Wycliffe and all them, it would be them. That would be that Christianity, because that Christianity ain't the same as, they all Christians, they all go with Jesus, and most of them got white Jesus if you ask me, but that's another argument we could come up with. But that's something else. But that still goes with 551. And then you could just climb up from there and you eventually go past Anglican and go past Martin Luther in the Protestant movement. And you jump right into the Roman Catholic. And then when they split with the Eastern Orthodox, them and the Eastern Orthodox excommunicated each other. You go right up the ladder till you get there. And that also take you into Saladin and all that. And we all see that part. But the part I'm saying is, when it's climbing up, as you're climbing up the ladder, and you grabbing certain degrees, and it says to you, go to the above question. You go to the question number 10 that applies, right? Most people go at the one that applies. If it doesn't apply, they let it fly, as they would say. Oh, it don't apply, then let it fly. But I'm just saying, it looked like to me it was, who was that mystery God? It was more on the above question number 10. That's how I saw it. But I'm just saying, see how we have these different C's. Like, you might see it like this, I see it like that. It's all good. I don't think there's a problem with different C's. I think different C's make it worthwhile. Make it worth your get 120. The diversity is what keeps us together. All of us aren't the same. Some of us can spit math very fast, and they're very fluent in it. Have you ever listened to Dumas? You ever listen to Dumas build that flow he had? Everybody that can't build, like I just pick him because you could go online and listen to how he builds, and you'll say, "Wow, Dumar was off the chain. He could go in, right? Yes, he could go in." So when you understand that, you say to yourself, everybody can't talk like Dumar because his wisdom was his wisdom. But anyway, the point I'm making is when we got to, if you did the one to 14 first, then when you got to 14, for us it would be 60. So what would it be for you? It would be 24. See, so you won't catch up right there. 24. And look, 8 and 3. See, that's why I was saying the exercise. Wisdom, myself, divine sight for master, born, build, destroy, and understanding. And build, destroy, and understanding 120. Tell us what he promised his nation he would do. That he would make a devil, graduate from his own people, and teach them trick knowledge how to rule people for 6,000 years. When we see that, that's what I'm saying. You see the correlation of, that's what you're doing. You're looking at the correlation so that it matches you when you build it. Like 23 in my head, I see that as N. That's going to automatically make me go to now nation N. Now's the time to get knowledge of self and the pit of ignorance. Nation, not Asiatic people. For the pale person is in a race to avoid the wrath of God. Knowledge in the culture showed what power. That's how we would have said it. See, we wouldn't draw it all along. We draw it, bam, make it flow right and exact. And so that's how we did it. So, but anyway, I said that to say that N, now nation N, like, now nation N is going to make me see certain numbers. In my head, I'm going to see them without trying. It's just going to pop in. I'm going to know that 23 is going to come out. 23 is going to come out. You're going to see 23. So, once you see that, you're going to correlate it. And once you've been correlating it for so long, it becomes a part of the cipher. Like, you can't separate it in your head because it's there. That's why even if you didn't quote 120 a long time, so you hadn't seen it, you haven't been quote, you ain't ran to no God. But if you get you a set of 120, it'll take you a little while to get back to quotation. If you was already quoting it, of course, if you never quoted it, well, that's another problem on its own. That you never quoted it then. That's why you can't read it and quote it back. But if you quoted it before like you say you have, if you're saying that you have, oh, I quoted 120, I'm just a little rusty. Oh, no problem, God. Here, read this one. Even if it's not exactly like the one you had, when you read that one, it's going to make you remember yours, and you're going to quote it. And that's how it works. But, of course, if you didn't quote it, you won't be able to remember N this 23 that comes out to be power. You won't remember that. You be over there trying to add those numbers up, son. That's what's going to happen to you. That's going to be funny. Because I did that too. I wrote them down first. Because that was part of the exercise. But then after a while, I was just typing out sets again. And I would just type it again. But you would tediously type it exactly the way, it was in the one you had. That was the whole purpose, was typing it. You wanted a clean version of what you had, but you wanted to say it just like it said. See, like, look, when I look at that, in my head when I'm saying it, is a pause. I don't say, here's no pause. One having, no pause. But you pause after one having knowledge, pause. Wisdom, pause. Understanding, pause. Culture, pause. Refinement, and then you go refinement, and it's not as savage as pursues happiness. Well, English language, since there's a A-N-D after refinement, there's no way if there's a comma after knowledge and wisdom and understanding, there's not going to be one after the culture and the refinement. Why wouldn't there be? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow suit. It's no pattern. It broke the pattern. It has to be a comma after culture. You don't put a comma after refinement because there's an A-N-D. That's the connecting word that connects A and D with this next thought is not a savage in the pursuit of happiness. That's a complete thought. You see what I'm saying? Each one of those words is refinement is a complete thought. It's not. Look it up. Look it up. Go to your lesson. You tell me that that's not a complete thought. Yes, it is. Come on, man. Stop. We all went to college. We know that's a complete thought. That's why I leave it alone. Don't be bothering it. Let it be. It's the lesson said that we not gonna be the same. That's what it said. Oh man, I wish I could quote that degree. I don't know how to quote it, so I'm not gonna read it to you like a scrub. But what I will do is I'll put it up. Oh, I did put up. I put up on my Facebook, but I don't never leave it up long because I don't know. It was a renowned degree in my head. But quote 120. It's totally different than reading. It's quoting. It's not the same. All right, and I'm out. Peace.
Born to give birth to. Born means complete in its season. Birth means complete in its natural form. For example, the complete numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. There are only 9 digits to the mathematics. 1 to 9 plus 0. 0 equals cipher, and this cipher is only used for crossing over a bridge or transformation. The distance between 1 and 9 are the trials and errors, which are from 2 to 8 that you have to go through. There are 7 trials and errors to be born. We want to be successful and able to give birth to, but we were born to give birth to a new nation of people. So we must learn all mathematical units carefully. Here are some meanings of the first 3 numbers. 1 is knowledge, 2 is wisdom, 3
is understanding.